All right, this week the sky is giving birthday vibes, baby. That's right. Welcome to a very special Cosmic RX Radio, or at least special to me because it's my birthday week. It's my solar return week. What?
Welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, MADI Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
I am your girl, your high vibe hype woman, Maddie Murphy. How are you doing? Because it would really make my birthday if you've had something recently magical or miraculous happen to you, especially in this eclipse season portal. In today's episode, I am going to give you the normal rundown, the moon weather, some planetary planning, some Virgo announcements, but I'm also going to be giving you a little insight into just a few things in honor of my birthday of what's inspiring me lately, what I've been learning. Of course, dropping some cosmic truth bombs to help you live in your own cosmic zone. But yeah, before I get into all that, just like I said, hi, how are we doing? Nothing would light up my heart more just to hear, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment. Like, what's the vibe? What has happened to you? Have you had any of your own, if astrology isn't real, moments under last week's Pisces eclipse? For sure, I'm just living in like an interesting little portal space. I'm in between childcare providers. So it's me solo. My husband's on a work trip. And, we're living apart for 2 more weeks during the week. Long story, blah, blah, blah. But basically, Audrey, my work wife, was like, wait a minute, you're going to the Pisces eclipse with the 202, no childcare. I'm like, ooh, pray for me. But it's actually been a fun lesson in surrender, in emotional regulation, in boundaries. And yes, let me know if you've had any like Pisces lessons, blessings. We love to work with the chaos magic of eclipse season. And this week it continues because we're in the heart of the eclipse portal. Eclipses don't happen like in one moment for one day. They're super intense in between the 2 eclipses, which in this case is 9/7 and 9/21. But we really feel the effects in the weeks leading up to it, and definitely even like up to 6 months out. All right. So buckle up, buttercups. We're in it. We're in the portal in honor of that. I'm just going to come in hot with some downloads, intuitive wisdom, sass, a little birthday sprinkles thrown on there. And first things first, we got to do our Virgo announcements. So cute. Someone on Instagram this week was like, what do you mean by Virgo announcements? Like, is this a thing? Is this related to a transit? And I'm like, LOL, I just forgot that I yap and talk in such jargon and like inside joke culture, even if it's like sometimes just me on the inside of the joke. So when I say Virgo announcements, this stemmed from 2 things. In my household, in my family, we have something that I call the Virgo check-in. It's like before we get into the like fun of the day, I just love an early morning check-in. Like, what's our day like or the night before? Like, I have a busy day. What's your day? How can I support you? What do I have to know on the itinerary? Like, can we just get a little check-in, right? On the like logistics, on the details of the day. And it really helps me. It really grounds me. And then I do the same thing. It started on our community calls like 5 years ago. I'd be like, well, before we get into the cool like manifesting of it all, I have some Virgo housekeeping, like just things to get out of the way before we go into like the sexy, spiritual, mystical space. So this is just like where that came from. So Virgo announcements are a very appropriate season to explain that and go deeper with it. First things first, housekeeping, our New York City High Vibe Happy Hour book launch, book tour party is happening Tuesday, September 16th, and it is going to be Litty Kitty Meow. We're going to have books, vibes, just like IRL hang times, cosmic cocktails, mystical mocktails, giveaways, some little like swag, a swaggy moment. I'm going to be there to sign your book if you want to bring it or buy it there. And it's just going to be like, as always, our Cosmic RX events are in person, like truly life-giving. Okay, I'm not overselling it, but I have never walked away from one of our events not feeling like a new lease on life and just a new like besties and feeling hope in humanity. So if you need that, come on down to Rocco's on September 16th. And if you haven't, of course, go grab a copy of your book in the Cosmic Zone. Birthday Rule. If you love me, leave a review. If you have already bought yours, or in honor of my birthday, if you want to send the book to someone you love who's like going through it, or maybe is ready to step into their highest and hottest self and understand their most authentic self, step into embodied alignment, let's get after it. Okay. It's just, and especially the reviews help more people find this book. And I know for me, has anyone else had that thing where they just found a book in a certain moment in life and you're like, I don't even know how I found that. It just like popped up somewhere, or it was on a bookshelf, like literally fell off the shelf for me, or popped up in like a suggested like books you might like. A lot of that comes from, people reviewing, rating books. It's actually how you get into bookstores, that plus sales. And of course, like the algorithm. So I'm like, let's have fun with the old algorithm. Let's add some astral energy there. And I appreciate you just like, spreading the hype. I was reading over some of the reviews this week and I was just completely blown away. So thoughtful, so sweet. So thank you if you have left one. And this week, speaking of reviews, if you leave a review for the podcast starting this week, I am going to be picking someone a week to win a burning question reading from me, where I will drop you a personalized voice note answering one question in your chart, channeling your magic, serving you up some practical cosmic advice. So yeah, lots of incentives. I love I know like my brain gets so distracted, but a good incentive will help me like prioritize and get laser focused. And my last Virgo announcement is that this week we'll bring back the If Astrology Isn't Real separate segment, the mini-sodes. I am so excited just to get back into that. We just took a pause because the bandwidth, it was a wild summer. It still is going in terms of, the book promotion and being on a lot of podcasts and having like special episodes to celebrate in the Cosmic Zone. But I miss it. I can't wait to get back to it. I feel like I am literally like bursting at the seams. It's like why I have that segment is because I'm just looking around the news, pop culture, everything's happening so fast. But I'm like, the astrology, it's so literal. And, I love that right ahead of the Pisces eclipse, we saw, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell come forward. And I just thought that was really cool. So anyway, we'll be getting to all of that. If there's something you want me to talk about specifically, let me know. Drop it in the comments on YouTube, slide in our DMs, the Cosmic RX on Instagram. And let's get into the emotional weather before I get into my little just birthday hype, musing, things that are inspiring me, lighting me up lately. The moon, in case we are new here, need a little reminder. The moon helps us best understand our emotional weather, our emotional needs, how to tend to them, our emotional landscape, so we can really show up for the world with clarity, with groundedness from the inside out. So on Monday, September 8th, my godfather's birthday, we're still in those Pisces moon feels. It's dreamy, it's intuitive, maybe a little foggy, a little soggy. And, we're feeling like, again, coming off of that eclipse, it's a good time to do that spiritual self-care. Pay attention to your dreams. I'm sure they're off the chain from this eclipse. You work with water rituals. And it's just the thing of like, we're just in this place of surrender, right? We're not actively manifesting or controlling anything. We're paying attention to where we're being led and taking time to slow down, to be in stillness, or to have spiritual self-care is going to help us understand, right? Those messages, those nudges even better. And then that night, Monday night around 7 p.m. Eastern time, we shift into an Aries moon. This is always a big shift, and we're going to be feeling Tuesday, 9/9, my birthday, and Wednesday, September 10th, it's Aries moon energy. So I'm like, ooh, I already love my solar return chart. This is very exciting. So on Aries moon days, we want to take action. We want to try something new. We want to work with our inner fire, whether that's like, again, following something we're passionate about, or just moving our body, or like hitting something like, in a safe way, like a boxing class, or making our own little like safe rage room if we need. Your emotions on Aries moon days, they want movement, not stagnation. And it's okay when you're feeling an emotion. You don't have to like always go into the headspace of like, why am I feeling this? What does this mean? Sometimes, especially right now, there's a lot of like spicy, inflamed emotions. And it's just good to like let those pass through so we could do something with them, right? Transmute them into something that's like art, action, activism, all of the above. So Thursday and Friday, then we go into a Taurus moon. It's cozy, cozy vibes, right? This is like this is where I want to be right now. I'm like, ooh, like yummy, good food, grounding rituals, sensual self care. Let's think about like getting into the body. Let's think about slowing down, being in nature. Like maybe can you take a little nature walk after work these days? And as always, we just look out for the double earth sign of it all, the Virgo Taurus. We give you a little bit too much into like work and to-do list and the checklist. Like rest. Rest is a big part of Taurus moon days. So don't let all that earth sign culture think that every moment of those 2 days has to be assigned to, practicality or checking things off of your task list. Saturday and Sunday, the Gemini moon of it all, we're going to expect lots of ideas, buzzy, buzzy, buzzy social energy. Maybe you're feeling like connecting, clacking. Maybe you're even feeling a little bit inner child, like playful awe, curiosity. I would love for you to do something this weekend that helps you connect with others, that does actually honor something you've been curious about. Just try something new. This is double mutable energy and it's eclipse energy. And Virgo sun, Gemini moon days, and the eclipse, we're going to feel like a little ungrounded, a little like all over the place. Okay. So I'm just going to really encourage you to be grounded, to really honor like and only say yes to things that are the sacred yes, to be really clear with people, right? Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Even if you're letting someone down, quote unquote, let's just hand it to them like nice and easy. Okay. Like, but direct and maybe do less because it's still eclipse season. Eclipse season self-care. I've been talking about it the past few weeks. One of the top eclipse season self-care things is just to not overpack your schedule if you can, right? If you have control over that. Okay, so let's talk about, the planetary planning. Let's get into the meat of the episode. Let's get cozy here. Okay, so this is one of those weeks I'm literally propping my feet up right now because Mama's had a day running around. Santino started crawling this week, y'all, or 2 weeks ago, but she's on the move right now. So on September 13th, we have this Mercury kissing the sun in Virgo. This is a Mercury Cazimi day. And it's like, the sun and Mercury meet up in a sign that is ruled by Mercury. So this is like the cosmos handing us the ultimate like new school supply, fresh journal, inky pens, and a highlighter so we can like take notes because we're about to get some mega downloads, lots of clarity coming through, feeling like we can organize our thoughts, have clearer communication. So we are going to look for, signs that come through. Again, it's the eclipse portal too. So nothing is insignificant. And I really want you to think about under this Cazimi, for small or big ways, but meaningful either way, how can you be of service, right? Like whether you're launching a business or growing a business, I think one of the most magnetic things we can do in business is really tune into the energy of being of service. Less about perfection, less about having the perfect marketing plan or perfect, curated Instagram feed, a perfect copy. But it's like, can I really, really get into that attuned energy of being of service? But this could also be on the personal level, right? Can you bring a friend a coffee, help out with something they're going through, just make someone's life easier throughout the day at work. It's just Virgo energy, especially on this day. It's like we're going to feel lit up. Something's going to feel like connecting us to our life force and our shine and our light by being of service. And then in terms of, this day, you're going to get a tip that's going to be about like working smarter, not harder. This is a great day to have an aha around maybe like systems, trackers, apps, software, organizational tools, or, physical or digital that can help you feel like things are more streamlined. Virgo really wants to edit out in the best way, lag and drag. It's why Virgo rules organization. It's like we all know the difference of leaving the house when your shit is organized versus not, right? If you have like your keys in the right drawer, you're like, I always keep my snacks in this one place. I always keep, my AirPods right here by the door. So when I leave the door, it's just streamlined, right? And everything's ready to go for me. Or, same thing with like, I feel like it's so funny because, everyone always gets this rap of Virgo. It's like a perfectionist. I actually think Virgo is the ultimate like type C baddie. Virgo is the ultimate, maybe a little bit like the only type A I see in Virgo energy, and this is reading myself fulfilled, is like type ADHD. Because like we have, I think our brains are moving so fast with that Mercury Earth energy, and we want to do all those things like the organization and all that because it helps our brain run better because we're just like have so much output, so much input, and we want to be of service. So it's like we want that organization, but because the brain's like always moving, it's never like stopping for us to get there. Sometimes I feel like it can really feel like that type C energy, the ADHD energy, like going on to the max. And that's why I do think Virgo really thrives when we can slow down and figure out like, yeah, what are the organizational things I need, the systems I need, the things I need to streamline my life because I want to do a lot. Virgo energy wants to do a lot. Virgo energy wants to have a rich, full life, right? The whole one. But we all know, again, that lag and drag of leaving the house when you don't know where your keys are and you lose them every time and you get stressed and you get dysregulated and you're running behind. And then you don't know where your AirPods are. And then you're like, well, now I can't take my walk later. And that's the one thing I do for myself. And then my snacks aren't here. Now I'm going to be hangry and I'm going to like get some like crappy junk food that I didn't even want to eat. And now I feel crappy in my body and, so on and so forth. Whereas these systems and the streamlining is to cut out lag and drag. So I want you to pay attention to this whole season, but this day where Mercury is meeting up with the sun, it's also like, it's right after we've had we're having this 2 new moon in Virgo energy this season. So it's right after we had the initial new moon in Virgo, we had the Pisces full moon eclipse that we're coming off of. And so like there's probably gonna be a lot of ahas about like what do you really need to run at your best self, to feel your best self, to feel your most embodied self. Okay. So Virgo birthday truths. Okay. Some things that I wanted to talk about. Like, I don't know if this is a pep talk. I don't know if this is just me sharing things that have made me feel really present and in my power. Well, definitely in my journey, but like I say a lot over the past year, these things coming to life for me, and just things that have actually helped me live in my cosmic zone, aka that space where you're manifesting, but not from this place of like more, 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 more. Let me grab all this stuff outside of me, but being in your authentic self, being in alignment where shit just works and flows for you and you just trust yourself, and also embodying it, being ready in a space to hold more, to experience more, to enjoy more, and, to really not just talk about astrology, but like live in your astrological gifts. So these are things that are a little bit like I talk about in my book, but kind of expanding upon them a little bit from the heart. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share with everyone, and again, this is very like Virgo, just getting it out there and kind of focus on. I have my organization, I have my notes, but this is gonna be a little stream of consciousness. So, the first thing in honor of Virgo, like I've talked about a lot in my book, Practice Makes Magic, and this concept of definitely like starting before you're ready. And my whole book is a lot about embodiment. So I want for you to hear, and whoever needs to hear this, I hope it just like bing, 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 like snaps you out of your like laundry folding days or walking the dog and just like out in space. I want you to hear this. You won't find your purpose by thinking about it. You're not going to find your voice by overthinking. You're going to find your purpose by starting to do it. You're going to find your voice by starting to use it. And I say voice because I find that maybe because of my Chiron Gemini, and it's like funny that kind of ironically this week around the Pisces eclipse, I started to get this scratchy throat. But so many people who come to work with me are really focusing on healing something around their visibility and their voice. And while in doing that, they're trying to find their purpose or step more deeply into it, whether it's like, art and intuitive healing services, business, leadership, all the above. But it's like the thing that we're really working on is the voice and visibility, because so many of us have that witch wound. So many of us have something in our throat chakra that feels like it's so scary to speak our truth, to share our ideas and our opinions, to show up, to give voice to the things from the unseen realm that we're feeling and picking up on, right? And for good reason, because like maybe even in this lifetime, maybe you were ridiculed or teased or made fun of or just felt again like othered by that. Or maybe, something happened to you in a past life, all of the above. But we can't like overthink our way into discovering our purpose and finding our voice. So if this is feeling like something that's resonant for you, I encourage you like speak, share, write, post, show up imperfectly, perfectly, and practice makes magic. And that's how you find the real thing. That's how you begin to trust your purpose and your voice. Okay. The next thing I'm thinking about a lot, because, again, this concept of embodiment that a lot of the book is like centered around, maybe not like say it over and over again in like black and white words, but like I think for so long I was like, oh, like, this whole thing around spirituality and studying it and reading about it and talking about it. It's all amazing, but it's so out there, right? Again, obviously there's a little bit of a theme here of moving from like the head space into the heart space into the body space. I want you to think about how powerful your mind is for shifting your state of mind. So if you can overthink yourself into anxiety, you can overthink yourself into alchemy, into magnetism, into magic. Okay. So the next time before you do something big, whether it's, texting your crush, writing an email to your boss, posting that post I was just talking about, making a big ask of someone where your heart's really invested, or, whatever it is. Like it could be ordering, I don't know, a burrito at Chipotle. Like that's what's fun about this is nothing is too mundane to make mystical. Before you do all of this, I want you to really consciously shift your energy, move your body, put on a hype song, shift your posture, like throw your shoulders back, walk with a little bit more of a saunter, a little bit more of like a strut. And then I want you to like really ask yourself, like, oh my God, like, how am I this sexy? How am I this confident? Like, this is so amazing. Like, how could anybody resist what I'm putting out there? And almost just be like, it's so crazy how this is all going to work out better than I can imagine. Like, really get yourself into that mindset. And just like, don't move, don't take the next step until it feels juicy, till it feels like play, till it feels like excitement, or at least powerful, depending on the circumstance. But yeah, just remembering between your mind shifting and getting to a different embodied state, you could shift the whole outcome and really quite literally change the game in that it kind of becomes like a game feeling. Okay, so similarly, going off of that, something I've been thinking a lot about this work about alignment and embodiment. And as we're in like Virgo season, I feel like the earth seasons always remind me of this Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn of like, can you begin to act like the version of you who already has it, whatever that is, right? Like who has the life you want, the relationships you want, the business you want, the good routines, the rituals, the habit, the hot girl energy that you want. Like, even if everything around you feels like chaotic or you don't feel like you're there yet, like, can you walk through life like the version of you who already has the six-figure business, who has the loving relationship, who has the beautiful home, right? Who has the financial freedom to travel? Like, just like what would it feel? And what are some of the habits? And what are some of the daily actionable steps that it takes to become that person? Can we begin to practice those and do those a little bit, right? That has been such a game changer for me in my life. And I also think about it a little bit along the lines too of like being a good steward of what you have to show you're ready for more. All right. Like if you're trying to upgrade your home, this happened to me when I was apartment shopping. I was getting so stuck, so frustrated last year. And the clock was tick tocking because I was about to give birth to Santino. We'd already outgrown the apartment between us, my life wizard chance, and baby Scorpio. And I was getting really frustrated, really down, really like just in that like stinking thinking, self-victimized, downtrodden kind of way. And I was like, you know what, Maddie, the block is the blessing. Like you guys keep trusting it. And I was just getting really annoyed with the current apartment we were in. So small. It was just so cramped. Nothing was set up for like Jordy had started getting on the move and it was a lot. But I took a weekend and instead of complaining and looking out and, forcing all this New York City real estate like mumbo jumbo, I was like, let me just give some love to this apartment because I love this apartment. This is where I, found out I was going to be a mom for the first time and held me in such an important reentry back into living in New York City after like having to move out for COVID for a year or so. And so like sitting in that apartment and like cleaning it with such care, like I don't know, cleaning the shower curtains, like making everything smell good. I did a little like intentional spiritual floor wash, played like the 432 megahertz over the whole apartment, like opened the windows where I could. And I was like, damn, like I'm so grateful for this place again. And literally like 2 days later, we found our apartment we live in now. That's an absolute dream. So it's kind of going off of that, of like doing the things, acting like the version of you who already has it, and doing that, yes, in the confidence way, in the Delulu way. I love that, but also in the way of being a good steward of what the universe has already given you. Right. Okay. So next thing I've been thinking about a lot, and it's like shifted the whole game for me, is like romanticizing the hell out of your life, like being so unapologetically into romanticizing your life, even like the unhinged parts, right? Like, obviously, listening to music, feeling like you're in the movie scene, going to a cafe to work for the day, getting an iced coffee, feeling like you're on vacation, be drinking that iced coffee like it's a love potion. Like when you days you don't want to shower, like it's like, well, maybe I'm a goddess under a waterfall while I'm showering. Romanticizing your life can also be in the rituals. Like if there are rituals that you don't want to do, how can you make them softer and more beautiful and cozier and more romantic? I saw this girl, I think I keep talking about her, but I saw her like first day of Virgo season, and I was like, this is so lit. It's like Cozy Girl Walking or something is her TikTok. And she has like an indoor treadmill, like one of those walking pads. And she's so cute. She creates this whole ritual. She wakes up really early, like ungodly early, like 5:30 to walk because it was one of her goals, to get more steps in, to get her body moving. But like she makes it so cozy. She makes this like delicious iced coffee that's like freaky deaky insane. Like all the fun flavors and the clinky ice. She puts on all these like vibey lights. She's very Gen Z. Like the whole room is like vibey lights. And then I think she smokes a little weed, or like gardens a little, as they say. So that may not be for everyone. But then she puts on like, Gilmore Girls and just walks with her iced coffee and so on. And I was like, damn, like, oh yeah, like who says you have to get morning steps? It has to be like this hard thing, right? And so if there's a ritual, one of my cosmic bosses sent me a voice note last week that was like, their morning walks, their meditations. When they bring like a fun picnic blanket, their walks, they were enjoying them more. They could sit down, sit under a favorite tree. And it felt like something, oh, I get to do this versus I have to do that. So that, and then my other hot tip for romanticizing your life, this is unhinged. Okay. So like, if you don't need this, like just press the fast forward. This is more like when you're having those days where it just feels hard to human, or like I have to do this really mundane thing over again. Like, oh God, like, oh my God, I have to talk to this person or sit in this meeting or, go to Jiffy Lube or whatever it is. I really think about like, what if I was like 95 years old and I just woke up in this body today and this moment in my life? Like, how fucking happy would I be to go to Jiffy Lube and be on this meeting and, like, whatever, running around after the boys? Like, it is something. And again, maybe it's not like people are like, well, that's like a little extreme to think that all the time. It snaps me out of the funk, like, always. I'm like, oh my God. I start like, I'm like gonna cry just thinking about it. But it's things like that, right? Like the romanticizing your life can be through making it beautiful. I think we hear that. We feel very like, buy yourself flowers and, very like elegant, airy. Like I'm picturing a Parisian woman while I'm talking. I don't know why. But we also can romanticize our life through making our rituals feel better, or the things we have to do, ritualizing them. And then, of course, just having that mindset shift again into like, I talk about it in my book, but like, what would I do right now in this day that could make my 8-year-old self proud? What could I do in this day that my 88-year-old self would be like so happy to look back on that memory, or just be like, I'm so happy I did that? Or if they transported through time and quantum leapt to this moment right now, what would they be like? Oh, hell yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool that you get to do a Target run, or sorry, not Target, we're boycotting them, but it's so cool that you get to just like go to the grocery store and like with like your babies and like you're just bebopping and you're so busy and life is so full. Like that's awesome. Right. So that's a big one for me. It's been a big one over the past year. And then like the next thing, and this is really important for the Mercury Cazimi day, is like in general, the ideas that come to you whether they're business ideas, whether they're songs, whether they're group offering ideas, whether they're like art you want to make or communities, circles you want to form, they are not random. Those ideas are not random. They choose you because you're the one that's here to birth them, to be a channel, to be a divine vessel, and bring this little like spark from something from the spiritual realm down to earth. Okay. And not only are you being the bridge between this realm, the unseen realm, the spiritual realm, the divine realm, and the earth realm, the 3D realm where us humans hang out, like this idea might also just be the bridge between your current life and your dream life, your comfort zone and your cosmic zone. Okay. So like those things, not only, are they being asked to have you bring something out in the world, perhaps, those things usually want to bring something out in you. Okay. So they're not random. We probably need them in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So the next thing is, again, around embodiment, really tending to your nervous system. And whatever this is, right? If it's somatic work, if it's breath work, if it's yoga, if it's meditation, if it's, changing your diet, if it's changing sensory input around you in terms of like sound healing. I'm so grateful to understand a little bit about more my nervous system before becoming a mother, right? Like even just taking a deep breath or, lowering my voice when I want to scream or just like staying calm and grounded when things get really dysregulated and you're like leaving the house from big transitions. I'm not saying I do it perfectly, by the way, not at all, but I know the tools and I know how to come back. And I can literally feel like my dog and my two boys like shift in their energy when I become in that place of tending to my nervous system. Like I feel the whole room change around me. So I just want to remind you of that. Like these are babies, these are animals. They are like, they have less of a way of hiding it. And they're very open and very sensitive. But I guarantee you that everyone in your life like is picking up from reacting to and mirroring and serving you back how your nervous system is showing up. And I invite us to tend to it. And this isn't about like healing it. Like it's not like something you're trying to like heal or fix within yourself. It's literally like attending to a gardening again, of taking care of this part of you, right? This nervous system that I feel like is also another way of saying like your spiritual energetic body, your auric body, your luminous energy field where you hold everything, right? Like your psychic gifts, your wounds, everything in the field. And I want you to tend to that. But it's not about like regulating yourself so much that you pull back from anything that disrupts it. It's not that. And it's not like to get rid of grief or rage or sadness, but it's actually so you can carry them. Like tending to your nervous system helps you be able to hold, to have the capacity to sit with all these feelings. And this is something in the past year, at the highest highs and some of the most intense, I don't want to call it lows, but losses, right? Like I lost my mom in February, birthed, two babies in a book and lost my mom, all in like a 13-month span. So like it's been a lot. And I will have to say, like, I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't intense, but I've had things that were way, 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 way less consuming. This happened in my life, and I felt so dysregulated. I felt so out of my power. And in that, I would either get overwhelmed or disassociate or lash out or just sort of like, again, like disassociate, kind of like just bye, everyone, and kind of give up on anything I was doing. And, this past year really taught me a lot about being able to hold that. And that's like for you, what maybe people in your life are going through, also the collective, but just like we can hold these more intense energies, grief, rage, then we can also have more capacity to hold joy and pleasure and awe and wonder and juiciness and like feeling lit the fuck up by our own life force, right? So when we tend to our nervous system, we can hold this and carry it, then we can alchemize these things too into more devotion, more art, more action. And, this is also something I've been thinking about kind of tying into that. But the next thing I want to say is this is truly like my journal entries from the past year and like notes in my phone, just things I've been thinking about. I want you to, first of all, look yourself in the mirror right now. And I want you to tell yourself that you are creative. You are a creative. You are an artist. I believe that everyone listening to this podcast, because you are all very in the heart center, you are all here like on a mission. You are all here with a medicine. You're all here with like a purpose that is like coming from a much higher place. And I know because it's like you're my people, right? Like we're here, we're those people. And whenever I get a DM, a text, an email, work with you, hang out in person, I feel that. I feel it off of. I've never met someone who has like showed up and enjoys this crazy podcast and the stuff we make who doesn't feel that way. Okay. So you're a creative, whether that's in your parenting style, whether that's in like how you do your spreadsheets, whether that's how you live your life, whether that's how like, you decorate your home, how you adorn yourself with jewelry and makeup, how you just choose to like literally like live your day-to-day details of your life with artistry. We're all here. You're creative. Okay. And especially when you're creating something that is a project you're going to be tending to often within yourself and maybe even bringing out into the world to be witnessed or, interacted with, engaged with. I want you to think about creating from what makes you feel alive. Like, I feel like so many people I know are waiting to create when like the time is perfect or they get everything else, all their ducks in a row. The website, the pricing models, the back end software, or like, the validation from the outside world, the certain amount of followers or the book deal or the gallery space. I don't know. But like, and that stuff's all cool in some ways, just fun. Again, life it's kind of a game, it's kind of like Earth School. But when you create something from what makes you feel alive and following that, and then bringing that out into the world and seeing what happens and letting that have its own life of its own, it's really cool, right? It's when you create something that's alive with joy, alive with grief, alive with love, there is its own like energy, right? And then it does work for you. It pulls things in for you, right? Like nectar pulling in pollen, whatever, not pollen, nectar pulling in the bee, the flower, like the essence, right? And I think in our very like masculine late stage capitalism patriarchal society, we like kind of create something to like lure people in, like that's what marketing is, and all these like bells and whistles and making yourself really like marketable, like desirable, buttoned up, polished. It's all in this energy of like pulling people in by like the kind of stuff that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So I just encourage you to create from what makes you feel alive, trust that, and then like get the rest of the information and resources and people and things you need from that place. Okay. And then the last one, I've been feeling this a lot, especially as we're ending out the lunar eclipse, going into the solar eclipse. And as I've been getting a lot of feedback on my book in the cosmic zone, this book is about, right, like leaving your comfort zone and stepping out and really claiming like the life that you deserve and desire from that place of really being in your authentic you energy, being really connected to alignment and trust and flow, and knowing that your life has such meaning and has you're so held and you're so directed and protected. And also, a life where you feel embodied, where you feel really powerful, you feel really here, you feel really like integrated. But like the moments, the things that you see that you want, you desire, it's going to cost you, right? Like it's going to cost you your old life. It's going to cost you sometimes the very thing you want more of. If you want more money, right? Sometimes you have to save money or invest the money we have left. If you want better friends, sometimes you have to cut out friends that are not actually friends for you, like just filling up your time and your emotional bandwidth. Sometimes if we want more time in the long run, we have to, create businesses that will make us passive income in the future. We have to sit down and spend some time building out these structures and doing that hard work to save us time later, right? So it's going to cost you, but it's also going to cost you. I'm like, I don't want to sugarcoat this, but it's actually really important and it's really fun. And it's really liberating once you can like click into it and understand it and trust it. but you're going to have like the stuff that's keeping you in the comfort zone, right? Like feeling like, okay, I'm liked here. I'm safe here. I'm whatever it is. Like I'm not standing out. Things are fine. Like on the other side of choosing your cosmic zone, you're going to realize you're like, oh my God, there's just things I thought that thing I was holding on to was so important, was the best feeling, right? But oh, I was being like kind of quasi just, liked, but I'll use that term kind of loosely because it's like, was I even being liked? Or is it just like making everyone else again comfortable around me at my own expense? Pull it up my note here because I wrote something from my journal on this. I said, yeah, there's something you're going to build a new life and you're going to find that you're going to, instead of being liked, like focus on making more space to be understood instead of just, fitting in. You're actually going to trade life for being seen as your authentic self. Maybe relationships that again are just filling up space to fill up space and not feel alone. You might actually have to spend some time alone to then find those powerful soul level relationships that nurture you and comfort you and uphold you and bring out the best version of you and all of that, right? But there is a feeling of a letting go. And I talked about this week, Jordy and his like farmer's market pickle and the like gripping onto it so tightly. And I've always known this, like the past few years, like the more I grip onto something, the more stressed out I get and the more it is so not, I'm not in my place of power. I'm not in my cosmic zone. And I have felt in my life some of the biggest waves and pushes to like let go of everything I was holding on to, like for something so amazing, right? Like let go, you can actually have that pickle and so much more. But I know that every time I'm up against it, it feels like the first time and it's so scary. And there is something, in my book, I'm talking about like leaving your comfort zone. And I want to say that you deserve to feel comfortable. Like, I'm not saying that you always have to be in the state of like huge, huge leaps and huge expansion and like big changes. There are actually times of life that are like deliciously just, I would say, quote unquote, boring, because you enjoy your hard work. That's really important too. But I want that place to feel comfort, like feeling, stable, safe, secure in a healthy, like nervous system place, and also comfortable in the way of like, shit, I designed this on purpose, like that girl doing her cozy girl walking, or like this best ever, my favorite fall sweater that like I've worn in, gotten exactly to where I want it. When I pull it out to watch my favorite TV show, it just feels so good. It's like, that's a comfort zone where you can be like, oh, I feel comfortable here. That's cool because I built everything in the most authentic alignment I possibly can. But like, you are going to have to leave the comfort zone energy where you're playing small, the comfort zone that you've outgrown. Maybe it was good for you when you got there, it was what you needed, but you've outgrown it. You literally feel like there is some sort of leaking of your life force energy, something where you're like, this is not me anymore. This doesn't feel like me, or I feel like constricted or restricted in here, or just again, not like myself. Okay. And if you're feeling any of that, or if some big things happened outside of you lately, like the big job shakeups, relationship shakeups, figuring out you have to move or all this stuff last minute, trust that it is probably like asking you to go into some new version of your life. And I just would love to see the energy of like the trust, like the Pisces key in the book. Just like, I trust. Because when you let go and you trust and you surrender, it's like that new thing can just come in like whoop, right into the open hands. But we have to unclench our grip first to make them open. So that's my random birthday, just musings, literally just things from like the things I've been repeating a lot lately, feeling in my journal, in my feels about. I hope one something or all of it maybe reminded you of something. If you feel like you know someone who might want to hear a little of these messages today, like send them the pod and say, babe, you're hot. And here's a girl just who is yapping a lot, but there's like one or two things in there that you might just be like, yeah, she yapped that straight to me for me. So just as a reminder, I love using my chart. I've been thinking about it so much lately with astrology because I'm on all these podcasts talking about astrology. And I'm like, I owe astrology my whole life. without astrology, I would be so lost. I would really not understand myself. I would not understand also like the things happening outside of me, the phases and cycles. So if right now things are happening to you in some kind of way that you're like, what does this all mean? There's always going to be a gift for you in your chart. There's always going to be a gift for you in understanding the astrology, how the cosmos are speaking to you in this moment. So just a reminder to go, right? Astrology is not about the horoscopes and the memes and the future predicting and the fate. It's about really like finding your flow and finding meaning in your life and remembering that you're on this great mythical journey. So astrology is here to define you. It's here to align you. And yes, dare I say, remind you. So that's where I'm going to leave you for today. If you're coming to the New York City party, I can't wait to see you on the 16th. And until next time, remember, your cosmic zone is calling. Ring, ring. It's time to step out of the comfort zone into your magic. Let's build this revolution together. And in the meantime, to get you there with more deliciousness, I'm going to be sending you those blessings for big, fat, juicy checks and hot, fulfilling, toe curling sex. Yow! Mwah. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.